Oh my
Dare you,
goodness.
Ross? You're recording me.
How dare I record
How dare
the
you?
conversation?
I think we're supposed to be, it's my sound quality we're listening to. You guys are just bantering.
Yeah. Oh well, that'll do it.
Oh,
All right.
okay, okay.
I'll have to end the
Pardon me.
thing though. That's the only thing. I have to end the session and then start again.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
a great interview.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hate you
I'm
guys.
really
All right.
proud of
See
I'm
ya.
Thank
really
you.
proud of my interviewing skills here. Okay.
Perfect.
Bye-bye.
Love it. Put it online. Let's go.
Welcome to Sweat the Technique. I'm Layla Marino, and we're here on K-Mag with Zombie Cats. And we've got both Ross and Rouven here today. Hi, guys.
G'day.
Thank you for joining us. So we're right in a sweet spot here with two albums being released. You've got the remix album on Dispatch that's coming up. And for the fans, what was that called again?
That was
The
the
remix
Tech
album?
Dreams remix album.
Tech Dreams, right. So that was the remix album of the original Tech Dreams. And when did the first one come out? The originals.
Oh, Reuven?
Oh, that's a good question. I have to Google, to be honest.
Yeah. Quick.
Because the tracks itself were ready for a long time,
Ah,
but we were like a little bit, changing here and there. I think it was it was pretty much in the COVID days or at the end of the COVID days.
Yeah.
2023.
23.
Exactly.
Let's just
Okay.
say that. And it came out
okay.
kind of staggered, like you 3 tracks here, 3 tracks there, and then whacked it all together. So let's just say 2023.
There you go. I was just on Beatport trying to scroll to find it, and I couldn't, so it was buried down in the rest of your releases.
They're
So I
suppressing
wanted
us.
to know.
I knew it.
No, that's good. It means you've had a lot of releases in between, so you're busy.
Oh.
So how did the remix album come about?
Oh, Reuven working really hard, basically.
I'm also interested what Ross is saying now, to be honest. Oh well,
Reuven.
I can answer that. if
Yeah,
you want
I
to.
think you better answer this one because if I answered this question, I would be such an imposter.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Reuven would just be
Well,
like, "Oh my God, he's
yeah.
making all this shit up right now."
No, all good. So, Tech Dreams, well, it's not just an album, but of course it's an album, but it's more like about a big concept because we're going back to our roots, like when we
see.
started drum and bass around like I think 2000. Ross, when did you start?
2006, 2007.
Yeah, that was our first major releases on Decipher, that's true, but you were making drum and bass before 2006, I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah,
sure.
I thought you meant collectively. Yeah, 2005. I think maybe first final release for me was 2006
Yeah,
with Bad
well,
Robot.
yeah, Bad Robot, exactly. But when did you start to create drum and bass?
I was making music on a computer, but I wouldn't say it was drum and bass until it was good enough to be called drum and bass, I guess.
Yeah. So what I want to say is that it's. I think that Ross and we both started listening to the same artists back then,
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
Conflict. You know which name I can tell now because that's like the old legends. And the concept of tech dreams was like to bring those sound back for us because it's always there and it evolved. But we think that Neurofunk itself changed through the years. It's not the
Oh,
same
of course, yeah.
Neurofunk what we had back then, and now it turned like if I think about the classic Neurofunk from back then, I would call it today like tech drum and bass, you know?
Tech step,
And
yeah.
tech step, exactly. And you can see that one word is like tech, and we still dream about it because this is something what really influenced us. So basically, this is like tech dreams, and the reason why we ask a lot of friends to remix us is that we thought that the album itself was not like closed, you know. There's more to tell. Basically, what Noisia did with their remix albums, you know, like we
The
want to
resonance,
see
yeah.
exactly because we want to see other how other artists would imagine what is tech dreams, what is their vision of tech drum and bass, what is their vision of
It's to
classic
expand the
Eurofunk.
sound, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even after that, when we saw that there's like, okay, we've got the Tech Dreams remix album right now, it's done. The idea is it growed. It's getting bigger and bigger, and that's why we decided to create a brand new allies and call this Tech Dreams because we have got so
Oh,
much more to say
Yeah.
with Tech Dreams.
More to give.
And this is where Ross can talk
Yeah,
now.
okay. So yeah, so
you're
we
interviewing each other. I like this.
we were like we were working on our own kind of sound. Like as a regular in Dementia, we had our own kind of sound, especially in the more like I wouldn't even say melodic, but it was deeper kind of tracks.
Like humans, for instance.
Yeah, like and so we
Mhm.
were working on something that was kind of a unique avenue of drum and bass, if you want to get nitpicky with it. And yeah, then we kind of went full steam ahead with the Neuro, and it really worked really great, and it was a really great decade. But I just can't stop making this particular type of music, whether we like it or not. I
The
guess
techier stuff?
the techier
Yes,
Are you talking
stuff,
about the
yes,
the
tech?
yes,
melodic
Yeah,
yes,
kind of
yes.
deeper, techie, fast kind of stuff. I
got it.
just can't help myself. It's just like this really indulgent thing. And Reuven is just so lovely a person that he puts up with it, and he's like, yeah, okay, well, I guess we can keep going with that as
I
well.
mean, it was always like a balance, like to connect with the modern Neurofunk audience, and the other way is like we always felt so home when we wrote tech drum and bass, and we saw that the audience for Zombie Cats is not quite connected to the tech drum and bass audience.
Yeah.
It's
And this
just
is
too fucking
basically what you
confusing for
said,
them.
that the album is like you said in the beginning of the interview that you had like problems to find the album or something like this, because I guess other tracks are way more streamed. If you
Mm.
want to, what's the sound of Zombie Cats? You don't think about like the tech drum and bass sound if you think about
Yeah.
Zombie Cats, you know. And this is something we are very humble that there's like an audience, especially in Czech, which connect our sound to Neurofunk, to the modern Neurofunk, or I call it now Neurobounce because this is like more the vision.
Yeah.
We think it's more up to date, like melodic intro, but then a bounce Neurofunk sound in the drop. But it was like we were like a little bit sad that we were not that we didn't reach the point that we can connect to both audiences, like the tech audience
Mm.
and the Neurofunk audience. And
Yeah,
I understand the
yeah,
people, you know, I understand that we don't want to confuse the people anymore
yeah.
because I understand that people they go to Spotify or any other streaming and they want to listen to an artist and they want to they kind of expect something, you know, even if it's super arty, they expect super arty music. But if they're listening
Right.
to Zombie Cats, most of the time people are telling me, I don't know, 3, 4 the same tracks. And it's always this Eurofunk around 2016, 17, maybe make you move with Smooth on Liquidity, which was like, or is at the moment our biggest song. And nobody's talking about Tech Dreams. And I feel a little bit sad, to be honest. And now Ross can talk about his.
Yeah. And okay, yeah. So it's basically.
I love this. I don't have to do anything because you guys are just interviewing each other. That's great.
Yeah,
you're getting all the points that I planned on asking. So keep going.
Oh, excellent.
Ross, what do you have
Hey,
to
Layla,
say
pipe down. I'm
question?
about to speak. No, I'm joking. Yeah, it's the album no one asked for. But no, I didn't mean it like that. It's like Neuro is so it's kind of split off into its own into its own galaxy. And if you go to like a big, say you go to say you go to a big festival, or you go to like intimate stinky club where they're just up for it. They don't want the subtlety that the Tech Dream stuff kind of brings. And you even mix it differently. Like new Neuro is like just so ram it in your jocks, so hard out that it's like even the mixing is so particular with it. Like you can smash mixes and stuff, but it's not. You can't like really weave a really cool tapestry over like an hour. It's just like bang, 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 and that's the way it should be, and that's what they want. But you can like really, with the techie stuff and how we used to mix, you can really like, the tracks have space, and they come up and down with like their mood, and so you can bring in like a really, like back in the day, there's lots of tracks that were kind of mix tools. Like you don't have that in Euro. You don't have a mix tool in Euro. You don't have like a track that's say mainly percussive that you can bind 2 other tracks together with and like make a new 3 tracks together, but it all makes sense. Like there's just so much noise going on in Euro, and that's what they want, and that's what we want when we're making it. That to mix like that doesn't make sense with it either. But I like mixing like that. That's like naturally how I mix. So we like Ruben said, it just made perfect sense to like stop fucking everyone around and make an own alias with this stuff, and separate the two, because they're in their own 2 different galaxies at the moment. Sometimes you can bring like 1 or 2 tracks, say one might have the pace enough to stay with the energy of Neuro or whatever, but you can't, like, if you've got like, I got like 10 tracks I really love, I can't play any of them in that set, and that shits me. So like best to have 2 different aliases, not confuse anyone, and then that kind of gives more freedom to each alias, and so that was the idea, right? And it was like a pain in the ass to like think about doing it, because like so you have to do like 2 different socials and stuff, and I'll be doing the Tech Dreams side of things in that, so I'm sure it'll fail miserably, but yeah, we're still like full guns blazing with Zombie Cats at the same time, and I guess that's the beauty of having more than one person like in the group. You can kind of do that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. I think it's very. It will also help the Zombie Cat sound to be more focused, because Ross can write tracks with Tech Dreams. Of course, I will be part of it, and Ross will always be part of Zombie Cat. But what will the result will be that Ross can be super creative with Tech Dreams.
Indulgent.
And then he's like, how can I say? He's like more relaxed when it comes to Zombie Cats, because we know 100% what we want to do with Zombie Cats. And I recently also started a lot of that ideas of this Neuro bounce, and he's creating like intros for it, and it feels like kind of more fluent, to be honest, because we now know exactly what we want, like we want to be artistic with Tech Dreams and do whatever we want. For instance, okay, of course this is just a raw example, but if we want to write like a 10 minutes intro and then a drop of 1 minute, then we can do this with Tech Dreams.
I've already done that.
Do this. I'm pretty sure you did. But we could never do this with Zombie Cats, because we have with Zombie Cats, we have to think about the modern standards of music
Yeah, it's targeted,
industry. You know, it's
and so it should be.
Yeah.
yeah, you can't deny that. It's super important
Yeah.
to be up to date with the music industry, with the yeah, with all the players in the music industry. But with Tech Dreams, we can do whatever we want. We feel much better. I feel
Yeah,
much better.
this allows me not to be precious with zombie cats. And if I was
Mm.
precious with zombie cats, that would like basically ruin zombie cats.
Yeah, yeah,
But
and
in a
also
Yeah.
nutshell. So
I mean, yeah, I mean, I also had like an episode through the COVID days where I felt like, oh man, I would love to write hip hop music, you know, and that was very successful with a bunch of great rappers I worked with, but I totally confused the project itself. Like when you're listening to Zombie Cats now, sometimes there pops like a hip hop track in between with the game, and everybody was like, okay, that's super cool, but why is he doing like now hip hop? Yeah, because I did this for my mental, I don't know, freedom and feel better, and this is like something we can do now with Tech Dream and Tech Drum and Bass, because it feels very limited if
Yeah.
you write the neurofunk, a modern neurofunk path here. But I feel in even I feel now more confident because I've got like a concept on my mind, and Ross has a concept on his mind with
yeah.
Tech Streams, and with Zombie Cats I've got this concept on my mind with called Neurobounce, and we've got like a more melodic, interesting intro, maybe sometimes arty. Let's see.
Epic,
Hmm.
maybe.
A little bit epic. That's a very good idea. And in the drop, you have this bounce. You know, it has to. You have. It can't be too confusing. I think we will not go the broken beats way or something like. This would be something for Tech Dreams.
Yeah.
I at the moment I just see for Zombie Cats a bouncy drop, Eurofunk dance floor. End of my speech.
Yeah, it's like a definite club music, and like Tech Dreams could be for the car.
Yeah.
Um, it or the
Okay.
club.
That's a good way
So
of saying it.
yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So you guys kind of raised a lot of questions that I kind of was thinking of starting about. That's why I was like, oh, you're interviewing each other because this is a lot of what I wanted to say. But just to kind of pull it back and structure it a little bit. So
Yeah.
when I was kind of looking through for you guys, topics to talk about and stuff like that, I noticed there's already, like, even just with Zombie Cats itself, like there's a lot of misinformation online. So like one website will say you're based in Germany, the other one in Australia, one website says it's Rouven, the other one says it's Ross, and so, I think defining your identities by your genres might be a good way to do that, for that reason, partially. And there's always going to be misinformation on the internet, but I think you brought up an interesting point about genres and genre hopping. That is kind of always an argument, really, in any genre, but especially in drum and bass, because people get so niche about it, and especially neurofunk. And with you guys, because you did a lot of releases on kind of Eat Brain and Blackout and stuff like that, people are just like, well, pigeonhole neurofunk, that's where you're at. And there's kind of an argument, I think, amongst artists and producers and stuff about, do we want to keep that one moniker and just kind of push against those boundaries, against that pigeonhole, or, create a whole separate project? And it sounds like for you, first of all, you sound very pragmatic about the argument between, niche and not niche, and what fans want versus what the artist wants, rather than thinking it's wrong for the artist to try to pigeonhole you. You're kind of like, well, we might as well just give the people what they want, and then we'll go off in a different direction if we want to be more creative. So I guess my question is, like, did you feel any stress about that originally, like when you were trying to figure out what to do and when you wanted to kind of expand your style, or was it just
Well,
kind of, you felt like it was more of a logical conclusion?
we did do it, and it pissed people off. So so I mean, because we've been going for so
Yeah.
long. I mean, it's kind of the
Yeah.
same reason why there's so much different information about it, because we've been cracking on for so long. Um,
I
so
think it's not wrong. Sorry to interrupt you, Ross, but I think
You bastard.
when I when I heard uh, the information about where we are based, Ross was living for some years here in Germany. I
Hmm.
was living in Austria for some years. I mean, I think it could be a little bit confusing, but if you see where the article was written, I think this, or maybe somebody was posting it, it could be right. Um,
Mm.
but to say that about the style we were choosing, we started with like 2015, 16. Zombiecats was like the start, and Brain was like at the same time growing. So basically, we were thinking about how that we have to write this particular like this new modern Eurofunk style because it was just the state of the art sound. Like we did what we would do with our regular dementia at this point, I think. So basically,
Right. It was very
it
cutting edge back then. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But around 2020, I think we announced that we want to go like 360 a circle drum and bass. We want to write every style, and that's why we also worked with Liquidity and wrote liquid music because we love drum and
Yeah,
bass
that was a
as a
shock.
whole. Yeah, we
Yeah.
love drum and bass as a whole, every style. And after 5 years, we decided to keep those open-minded direction to write every style, but now with like separate allies, separate artist names, because and that's my impression, maybe the same from Ross, that people are a little bit more lazy these days. They're not digging, they're not searching for music. They want to get this presented
Yeah.
directly. So this
Yeah,
is totally different from
absolutely. I
this
think
is
it's a
totally
nice way to
different.
put it.
Yeah, this is totally different from the days when we started
Yeah.
because I was driving to different cities to get some vinyls, special vinyls. I was crying sometimes when I found the vinyl I was searching for, I don't know, 5, 6 years. And this is now totally different because people are not searching for the music anymore. They're searching maybe for the sound, for the style, and then
Yeah.
they see, okay, who's writing this style or that style, and then you are already in this niche. So, but if you're confusing the algorithm or the listener too much, you get out of this industry a little bit. That's my impression.
Yeah, so
And
100%.
Mm.
And I think
yeah,
that's a nice way to put it. Like back when I was a child,
yeah,
it was like you would the drum and bass was completely about finding new sounds, and it
mm,
wasn't like getting told that a new sound was here. You'd literally go to a club and you'd use your ears to listen to a sound, and it would be new, and it would be like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what is that? That was literally the definition of like why people like drum and bass.
Yeah.
It revolved around that. But now
mm,
with if you got social media and all that kind of stuff, and but the greatest example for me is reaction videos, right?
Yeah.
So like, and don't confuse this with say like core listeners, because core listeners are still there's still people that do it the old way, and even there's still young kids that do it the old way. But really, what drives success in a genre is the mass clicks. So
Unfortunately.
for instance, if you think about the idea of a reaction video, it's basically like it's the way it is, so whatever, but it's so counter the actual idea of what music is. It's just there, and that's the way it is. But like, if you break it down, it's insane. Like, okay, so you seek to validate if something's good for you to listen to or not by watching a video of people reacting to music. You've gone and you've taken away the reason that music exists, which is to react to it.
Yeah.
You're so
that's true.
lazy
Yeah.
now, like you're so lazy now
Yeah.
that like you're getting someone else to react to music and then say if it's good or not, or if you like it, if it's your thing, it's your vibe, and if it defines you publicly. Um, and it's like you just took the whole reason that music's here away. And you could
Yeah.
argue, oh well, there's a new reason now, but it's like, yeah, but that's all music was. So it's kind of like we're in some kind of weird like Twilight Zone pantomime thing, and it's a shame it's not
That's a good
like
way of
it
putting
was
it. Yeah.
before because it was so like it was so new. It was so like, oh my God, what the hell is that sound? And now it's like, oh my God, do people like that sound? Because I like that sound. If people like that sound, how many likes does that have?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole different amount of motivation. It was interesting because I just saw a thing on it's on Instagram, it's on a reel, but there's like because a lot of people are trying not to use Spotify anymore for obvious reasons. And they were saying like here's some alternatives to Spotify. And usually when you see those people do like, well, this is an alternative platform, right? And
Mhm.
that's the other thing with Spotify, back to your original point, is that Spotify now hands you whatever you usually listen to on a platter and you don't have to go looking for it. So
Yeah.
that experience is
Exactly.
taken away
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one was done by a record shop who was saying alternatives to Spotify. Go to a record shop, 12-inch CD, cassette tape. But how
Yeah.
will I know what to pick? Ask your record shop person, or like listen to it and see if you like it yourself.
Yes, yeah,
It's like
you put
there's
put the music in your ear holes. The fuck you doing?
yeah. Well, and then the whole TikTok phenomenon too. People doing little dances to snippets of a certain song and they don't even realize what the song is about. The number of times I've caught a really upsetting or depressing song being used for like some girl to dance in front of.
Mm,
It's wild. Like the just a girl, that there's that whole phenomenon on TikTok, and now people are actually saying it in their vernacular. It's like, I'm just a girl. And you don't realize the song was originally about how it was meant to be ironic and about how like you're being put in your place as a girl. And now they're like, well, you're saying it with no like sense of what it really was.
yeah.
And that's happened so many times over and over again. And so it's like, and time does bastardize all points. That's certainly true. But like, it seems like it's happening faster and it's happening with different motivations nowadays. It's
Yeah,
not a
one.
generation rediscovering it and making it for their generation, that they're rediscovering it and not understanding it at all and not thinking about it or thinking it through. So, it,
100%.
it's interesting in that
Everything's
way.
just getting fidget spinned like that. That's just
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, it's all
yeah.
for ADHD. And I love the weird mashups sometimes, but again, you kind of also have to originally understand a little bit of what it was supposed to be like. Like when I got into the Doors when I was a kid, and my parents, obviously it was from my parents' generation, I would still listen to it and come up with my own thoughts about it, and then I would discuss it with my parents, and they'd be like, "Oh, well, in the context of the '60s, this is what this was," and I'd be like, "Oh, that's interesting. This is how I saw it," and we'd have like a back and forth. And there's none of that now because it's 7-second clips, where we're just dancing and we're not getting, and they're doing like pantomime, literally pantomime to the song.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, you're not getting what that was about. And
Yeah.
sometimes they'll be like really offensive songs. And not to get too much on a tangent, but like the Prime Minister of the UK walked down the steps of the plane in a Joy Division t-shirt. I don't know if you saw that, and everybody's outraged because Joy Division refers to something that happened in Nazi Germany, and they don't realize that Joy Division named themselves that to bring awareness to the phenomenon because it was so upsetting. You know what I mean? And she's saying, well, this is anti-Semitic. It's like it's the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
And it's
Meaning
very
meaning
odd.
doesn't mean
So
anything anymore.
yeah, that's a great way of summing it up. Meaning doesn't mean anything anymore.
No.
It's meaning is clicks and
Yeah.
pictures and influencers, and I'm not actually eating the steak in front of me. I just need it for pictures and for the content, and yeah, it's wild. But
Yeah, everything just got Happy
that's
Meals.
this
But
Happy
do
Meal,
you
then
know?
meaning it. Yeah, I like all
Do
your
you know,
sound bites on
guys?
this. I'm going to use them.
Do you know, guys, what got meaning? Tech Dreams, the new project of.
Oh my God, he's so right.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing it back. So
Yeah,
yeah, so
thank
going
you.
into that, so I mean, it sounds like it just seemed like it sounds like for a while you kind of felt that pressure and that confusion from people, but you're willing to kind of take that step to the side so that it creates more space for you to do what you want with both projects. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%, yeah.
And also like
Yeah.
so it's you if you're a musician and especially say you're working in a digital audio workstation and doing this kind of stuff, there's two ways you can really go about it. And that one is to like always have a track that's already out there referenced in mind And I think a lot of people work like this, and like I'd say that track's cool, that's got a banging bass line or whatever. Oh, I like that snare, whatever, and they do this thing and that goes the do 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 or whatever, and you kind of keep that in the front of your mind while you're making a track, and you kind of base a track around that, and that's fine. But like I like to make like if in my naturalist way I make tracks is I don't listen to anything. I just make it. I just like and it comes out. And so like I think if I didn't have an outlet where I could do that, I would just hate music.
Yeah, well, and that's
Both are
also
valid, but I need to be able to do that, and Tech Dreams
yeah.
facilitates that.
Well, and that goes into something that I always ask, in any interview is how you put the tracks together in your mind, and a lot of artists will say, well, it doesn't come from anything. I just like create sounds and then it comes together. I don't have an idea of what I want it to sound like. And then other artists say like, well, I had an idea of what I wanted it to sound like, and then I created the sounds around it. So you say you're kind of more I just want to see where this goes, and
Yeah,
I don't want it to sound
I
like
would say
anything.
both. I would say both, but
Okay.
I need to be able to do both.
And what about you, Reuven?
Well, if I think about how Zombie Cats started, or even before, like the Irregular and Dementia days, the classic way was always that Ross sent me a lot of sounds, and I was supposed to create a track out of them. Interrupt me, Ross, if I'm wrong.
No, that's exactly. It was kind of like a remix pack.
Yeah, exactly. But the reason for that is because our journey began by remixing each other. I think
Yeah.
that you started
Oh.
first. You remixed my old allies, Destination Unknown, and
Yeah.
it was also released.
For Shady
It was
Brain,
like, what was it? No Escape, I think was
Yeah.
the track. Yeah, still like that remix.
Yeah.
And then I did the favor back to remix Trip and Boards, and
Yeah.
this was like the remix. I sent the remix to Trace back in the days for Decipher, and
Oh, wow.
he really liked it and was asking, but where's the original? Is it released? And I asked Ross, and he said they're never released. So we just said that the remix is the original, and then from that time on, we kept working together.
Yeah, and that was the formula.
Yeah, that was the formula. So basically, for the first 10 years, as Irregular and Dementia, and also in the beginning of Zombie Cats, we kept remixing each other, I would
Yeah.
say.
Basically, yeah.
So the system is solid, it's working, but it changed over the years just a little bit. Sometimes Ross is writing a track on his own, and I might mix it a little bit down. Sometimes I create a track, and Ross adds some final additional sounds. So basically, at this point, we know each other's strengths, and we can write music on our own if it's needed,
Yeah.
And right now, I think that Ross will attack a lot on Tech Dreams to get his freedom, mental freedom, and I will keep focusing on Zombie Cats to manifest this neurobound sound.
Yeah.
But as I said before, I'm part of Tech Dreams. Ross will always be part of Zombie Cats. We will always be friends. Love, peace, unity. We are now in a relationship for 20 years now.
20 years.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, 10 years of Zombie Cats, 20 years of friendship. And yeah.
Okay, and by way of a little interlude, we're going to play one of Zombie Cat's classics, Fade Out, which appears on the Undead compilation, and the audio remix will actually be on an upcoming album called Neurofunk: The Past, the Present, and the Future 2. But yeah, no, I think I did a review or an interview or something with you guys on Bass Rush back in the day. So I think
I
that's how
remember
we
that.
first, hooked up. Yeah, and then I met Ross at X Massacre
Oh
in
yeah.
what 2019 was it?
Yes. Yeah. Was that the one where
Yeah,
I lost my underpants?
I was just gonna. I have a picture of that. You found him though, remember?
Yeah, amazing.
Was
If
this
only those thermal underwear could tell a tale.
Ruben's like, pardon? Sorry, what were you saying?
was this one with the I think Bad Taste recordings hosted the stage or
Yes.
Yeah.
ah,
They
Yeah.
had the
okay.
stage,
Yeah.
and yeah. So, and it wasn't underpants. It was like
Yeah.
long johns, like
Yeah. 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 They were thermal underpants,
thermal underwear.
and
Yeah.
it got super hot, so I took them off. I think while Akov was playing, and
Hmm.
I think so. I can't remember anyway. And then in a fit of passion, I threw them into the crowd,
Yep.
and
Your underpants, but your
Yeah.
underpants.
my long underpants,
You
and because
bought
it was too
them
hot.
because of Germany, right? Because it's so cold in
Yeah,
Germany. You
it's because
bought
it's so
them.
cold, and I'm
Yeah,
such
yeah, yeah. I
a
remember.
little bitch when it comes to cold.
I
And then
remember that.
about 5 a.m., they got thrown back onto the stage while I was on the stage
Interesting.
listening to someone, and so I got them back. So they did some
Yeah.
stuff for about 3 hours, and I don't know what they did.
Yeah. They went through the crowd,
Yeah,
and I
Interesting.
actually no, I actually found them on the floor, and I asked the person who picked them up to throw them on the stage at you,
excellent.
and then I walked up the stage, and you had wrapped them around your neck
Yeah, yes,
like a scarf.
yeah, yeah.
And I
I
still
think
have
the
that.
meet and greet that was my my
Yeah,
get
with
up.
you and Toby from Neon Light,
Yeah.
so you had them wrapped around your neck like a scarf, and I have a video of you throwing them over your shoulder
Hmm.
when you first got them back. So it's still
I was
somewhere in my
pleased as
phone.
punch.
Yeah, because those I don't think they were cheap underpants. They looked like they're a nice kind of like sporting brand.
I think I got them from a middle of the road department
Ah,
store.
either way, you
Yeah.
wanted them back, even though they've been on the floor, and then you put them on your
Oh,
face.
they've been to some heinous places.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's funny because I was thinking about that story and I didn't want to bring it up unless you did, but there you go.
No, that's one of my
Uh,
one of my greater moments. I would say.
Oh, there you go. Well, yeah, we're keeping it in here now, so
Excellent.
because it's one of my favorites. This is my first fun that I had in Czech Republic when I first moved. So yeah, it was good.
Excellent.
Okay, so back to the questions a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we were talking about the formula and how we're kind of you're splitting off now into the two projects. So do you think the formula will stay mostly the same for Zombie Cats, but it'll be a little bit different with Tech Dreams? Because it sounds like, I mean, it sounds like you speak to each other's strengths, but when you're creating this kind of more, I guess, experimental and expansive stuff with Tech Dreams, how do you see Reuven, how do you see yourself fitting in there, or how has it been so far, kind of putting those puzzles together in the new format?
Well,
In the
if I
new
could just
format of Tech Dreams?
jump
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
So
Jump
like,
in.
so the Tech Dream stuff that we're doing now is from the album we did and a few things before that. Like we couldn't we couldn't have made this sound without that stuff happening first. So it's completely organic, and it'll do what it does, and it's not critical to do it any which way at all. So it kind of doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's the idea of it, I guess. It's like it can be whatever. But yeah, Reuven, you can take over here because I've just
Yeah, so
answered
the
for you.
formula is no formula until we ask the German. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a formula in his mind.
Well, the good thing about Tech Dreams that there shouldn't be a formula because it's creative
Mm,
freedom. Ross will start the tracks of Tech Dreams 100%, but I'm pretty sure that I understand his vision because this is like the origin drum and bass sound we want, or like we want to continue because it's like
Yeah.
the classic Eurofunk sound,
Yeah.
and I mean. He can focus on this style and get his freedom, and I will focus to put Zombie Cats on the right track, like on the modern Eurofunk Eurobounce track. But I can understand his vision, so I will mix it down, maybe add something, basically the other way around. This is what like Ross will do with Zombie Cats. I will
Yeah, that's a
show
good way of
him.
putting it.
Recently, I'm showing a lot of ideas of sketches, and he's writing like intros and adding some additional sounds. And this is basically what I can do with Tech Dreams, because you already wrote a whole album, right? With Tech Dreams, a new album.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Basically, that's
Yeah.
like
Oh, wow. Okay.
10 tracks or something like this. And he sent me
More.
the idea. More, okay.
Yeah.
More than 10 tracks. And he sent me those ideas, and they are really exactly what I also would think about when I think about Tech Dreams, the sound, like timeless classic drum and bass, I would say.
Mm.
So, but of course, we can tweak a little bit the mix down. We can add here a sound here and there, but that's a good thing, that there's nothing will be forced or there's no pressure, and
Yeah.
that I really
that's a
like
good
the
way to put
idea. Yeah. Okay. Stop.
And so the new album, it's probably not going to come out super soon, but the new album is going to be under the Tech Dreams moniker rather than Zombie Cats. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Already in Perth here, I've been playing a few shows as Tech Dreams, but like say like on a flyer you put the label in brackets. We put Zombie Cats in brackets.
Oh, okay. Yeah, since
If
Zombie
that
Cats
makes
is the
sense.
label also, so that then it lets people know that it's tied in that somehow.
Yeah.
So it comes out early December, you said?
Well, that's the remix.
Oh no,
album.
the remix album. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I'm just jumping around.
Yeah.
So the remix album is out in early December. There's a couple of samplers on there already, I think, on Beatport.
Yeah.
And so how did you go about? I don't know who can speak to this, if it's more Rouven or Ross, but how did you go about deciding who was going to do the remixes? Was it just people who wanted to play with it, or or people that you really thought understood the vision, or how did you come up with that?
Well, basically, those are all people we know each other, and for instance, Erotic Cafe was somebody I met, I think at last in London, and I was really shocked how good he is in his music, like in this tech music, and it totally makes sense to ask him. I know that he's writing a lot of music for Flow, for Face, well, on his label, not for him. That would be a straight up lie.
You said that
so...
that's it. Nobody's ghostwriting for Face. Make sure we
No,
say that.
no. Exactly.
People come
Thank you very
after
much.
you.
You heard
Thank
it
you very
first
much.
here.
Thank you very much.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So that was you said that was Felix Raymond?
Yeah, Felix. He's also a
Okay.
friend from mine from Germany. No,
Okay.
this I'm talking about. This was
Erotic Cafe. I see
Yeah.
it.
Yes,
I'm looking
yes,
at the track list right now, so I'm
Yes,
just so
yes.
I can bring it
And
back so people understand.
Yes, the one who remixed Felix and ourselves was Redemptive. He's a very good friend of us.
Yeah.
We met each other through the Haiti label, and he sent, I think he sent me like an track to listen to, just to get a feedback. And I really like his style, because it's also like timeless, more liquid influenced.
Mhm.
So it was a little bit surprised that he can also write. Back then it was a surprise that he also can write a little bit more dancer orientated tech music. But he's a very good guy. We met him Let It Roll 2024, I think. Yeah, Ross and I. And he's a friend. He's a great guy. And who else is on the album remixing?
We've got Synchro, Search and Destroy, Magenta. You said Erotic Cafe, Des McMahon, who is American. I know him
exactly.
somewhat. And you did your
TI
own
as well.
remix here. Yeah. Is
Yeah.
TI remixing, or he was originally on the
He was-
original
Oh yeah,
track?
sorry.
He was on the
Yeah.
original track. Yeah.
Okay.
All of these people we meet in person, except Des McMahon. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
I don't think
That's
he's been
the
over
only guy.
here. Yeah.
And basically, I asked everyone directly if they are interested to remix us at some point. and this yeah, made sense because Magenta, for instance, we also meet each other in London, the same like erotic cafe at a party. I think it was in Printworks, and
Mm.
the way why we talk about collaborating was a little bit more about hip hop because he's also very into Czech hip hop, and but he's also like connected with these total integration TI style, and it totally made sense that he's remixing this track. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
really like his way of thinking that he's so open-minded because this is exactly what we are because we love drum and bass so much, but we also love music because Ross has got a totally different background from music than I.
Mm.
And Magenta also is like so much into hip hop. He's basically also confusing the listener. I knew he has to start. He has
Yeah.
to start the new ally.
Bastard.
No, because everyone on this remix album has got like a connection to us as a person, but also we thought that those artists can get really into this tech drum and bass sound.
Yeah. So it's people you thought of that again kind of were with the vibe of Tech Dreams. And when I hear you talk about Tech Dreams, and I keep thinking in my head Tech Step Dreams, I think you missed a trick there. But yeah,
Fair enough.
so it's kind of like it's being really interested in the tech and the nitty gritty and technique and figuring things out, and playing around. It sounds like so. Like you said, there's some people that it's surprising that they're doing this style. And that's the cool thing about a remix album too, is because a lot of times somebody who you would expect their style to be a certain way, when they get on a remix album, it sounds like audiences are a little more forgiving when they're remixing because you already know it's a remix. So, okay, it's not going to be your normal style. So, somebody like Jade could get away with doing techno on a remix or something like that, whereas normally like he has to stay within the confines of neurofunk. So is that kind of that's kind of the whole credo of Tech Dreams, isn't it? It's like kind of breaking away and experimenting a little bit more. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Cool. And then so just finishing this up since we're looking at all of these, you've got a couple of your own tracks on here. I see a Zombie Cats remix, Left Nothing. Was that originally Ways, or was that both of you and you did like a VIP?
Yeah, basically, yeah. The latter
Okay.
Yeah,
was
that's more
And
like
then
a
Dream
a
VP.
rework.
Yeah.
rework. Okay. And then Dream Tech that's original brand new, or no?
Yes. We
Okay.
threw it in for
So
fun.
it's got a lot of different, it's not just remixes then. We've got a VIP and you've got a new song. So people
We
should check
snuck
that
one in
out.
there.
Just do a plug there for that.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Um, so yeah, I'm trying to do my job here, even though you guys are fun to just chat with all day. So going back a little bit to Undead, which just released, let's see, since I'm right in front of Beatport. It just released on Halloween. Oh, good. Yeah, good shout. It's Undead. There you go. And that was supposed to be your Zombie Cat's 10-year anniversary. So was that more like, now that you've kind of decided on this thing with Tech Dream, was that more like you could just really get into it as Zombie Cats and give the people what they want? Is that kind of what you were thinking with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a one-word answer from us.
Yeah.
Yes.
You did warn me on the one-word answers.
Now it's Ross time
Yeah.
to answer the question.
So yeah, it sounds like, were you creating most of these, Rouven? The tracks on Undead?
On Undead, well, it's a collection of tracks which were already released as a single, and
I see.
yeah, and there are, I would say that there are like a mixture between the old style of Zombie Cats, like from 2015-16, like that we
Okay.
wrote like more together or more Ross influenced, then something what I did recently. There's, for instance, the track with Nat, which is like a close friend
Yeah,
of
I was
mine.
just looking at that.
Yeah, she's a social media girl, but she's also super much into music, which is super interesting because she's from the younger generation, but she's talking about the music all the time, which makes me kind of happy because she's not just listening to some short clips. She's really into it, the music.
Yeah,
and
there's
everything.
hope. There are people out there that give
There,
us hope. Yes.
exactly. So basically, the Undead album is a great mix to really understand what we did the last 10 years. Like there's like
Oh,
different
okay.
styles, but they still have got like there's one connection, but different styles of neurofunk. Like fade out is different. Like ignite the fire, for instance. Like even in the style,
Yeah.
in the vibe. But everything is neurofunk for sure. And I think the
Okay.
next album of Zombie Cats will sound a little bit different because I guess that the next album will be way more one sound. You know, we are not
Hyper focused,
experiment
yeah.
so much. Yeah, we're very focused, and I'm excited to see where this will go.
Yeah, then that's kind of the neuro bounce sound that you were talking about, and you mentioned the Czech sound, which is interesting because I'm living in Czech now, and I've lived in London before that, and I've kind of been all over the place, and it's interesting when you talk to kind of some of the progenitors of the modern neurofunk, which I would count you guys amongst, but also Black Sun Empire, and we mentioned Eat Brain and stuff, and when they talk about the Czech sound specifically, they're like, I wouldn't really call it neurofunk, but it is, but it's not, and I always just call it neuro dance floor. But I think neurobounce is a really good way of putting it. It's kind of like it's just more dancey. It's less techy, So if you're trying to get more into tech stuff, it makes sense that if you want to kind of cater to the younger generation with neurofunk, going the Czech way, I guess would be helpful. But to that end, like, do you think that there's still some creative license to be had, since you're deciding to kind of hone in on that sound and create that sound for Zombie Cats? Like, are there still ways you feel like you can really kind of express yourselves within that niche?
Yeah, well, that neurobounce sound can grow, but it will sound like it does, but it can have some surprises. I guess it would be a way to put it.
Reuven,
Yeah, basically exactly what
questions,
Ross said.
comments, concerns?
Confirmed.
Okay. So I had another question and it just jumped out of my head. Well, and so, I mean, I guess like for me, what's interesting coming from, I started in drum and bass really in 94 when it first came to the US. My whole thing has always been like, I really like in a track, I mentioned this to Billane as well, because we were talking about a lot the lines between experimental and kind of more pop drum and bass. And my thing, what I'm always attracted to is when there's a point in the track, wherever it is, where something's upsetting, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, it just like knocked me out of my space. And that's why neurofunk, like you said, when it was cutting edge, when it was more cutting edge in 2015, 2016, that it was that. And I really appreciate neurofunk artists who continue to take it in that direction. So I guess that's what my question is about. Like, will you see that more in Tech Dreams or more in Zombie Cats? That kind of like, whoa, what the heck was that? I have to rewind it kind of thing.
Yeah, I think both, but say for if in Zombie Cats it will be what the hell was that new neurobounce sound? If that makes sense. Like it's still hyper focused and you can still do lots of wacky shit with it, but it'll be still gunning to the same point. Whereas Tech Dreams, it could be anything. It could be something like what the hell was that, but it's not an intense sound or something like that. It could be any, it could be from any
Okay.
field.
And so you mentioned kind of melodic stuff and melody taking a big part in that. Is that where you're going to find kind of more of your liquidy side of things? Because obviously you're experimenting that for the last few years as well. So does that end up on Tech Dreams as well?
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Maybe some you can do that in the intro for the Zombie Cat stuff, but it wouldn't be sitting in the drop so much.
I see. And would you go like different beat structures as well in Tech Dreams? So like maybe like a trip hop beat or something 140 or just ambient altogether. Like you said, you have one track that's like a 10-minute intro and 1 minute
Oh
drop.
no, I lied about that.
Oh.
No, yeah, no,
Well, damn, I wanted to hear it.
that sounded like a good idea. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, well, maybe if we want to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the open door of Tech Dreams. Whereas yeah, the Zombie Cat stuff will be extremely zombie catty.
Fair enough. Okay. And that kind of goes to so the Zombie Cats is really to have like a neurofunk moniker then. It so kind of like goes with all the grindy, deep, dark graveyard vibes of that neurofunk kind of grew up in. Um, so is that, am I getting that right? Like that's kind of how you came up with the name?
Rouven.
The origin story of Zombie Cats?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Whew! All right. Sit down,
Crack your
guys.
knuckles. Let's get a
Okay.
drink.
Well, yeah. Zombie Cats started in 2015. I think it was it on your birthday, Ross? Pretty much, right?
Well, then it
I
would have
think
been
it
on
was
your
on.
birthday.
Yeah, exactly. It was on our both because we were very close.
Oh,
When it comes to our birthday, I'm born on the 17th. Ross, when were you are born on the?
16th, yeah.
Yes, he still knows it.
oh,
And we had a gig in Poland in
Yeah.
Stettin. Lovely guys. Can't say anything bad, but the gig itself was a little bit chaotic. It
mm,
would be like a completely own interview if I talk about this party. But to put it in a nutshell, it was chaotic. It was crazy. It was kind of lovely, but it was it was like, okay, we have to change something here because a regular
mm,
dementia, we felt stuck. We felt
Mhm.
like everything has to be more professional. And it starts with small details, like if we get a hotel room, it has to have curtains so we can sleep. You know, like there were
Or
just
maybe
some
it would need to first be a hotel
oh
oh.
yeah. Oh yeah.
and
So
not a
the
Yeah,
post
project,
office.
totally.
the original project between the two of you, just so we're getting listeners on the same page, it was called Dementia, right?
Irregular and
Yeah,
dementia.
a regular dementia, yeah.
Yeah.
Irregular dementia.
No, no,
And
no.
before that,
My
you,
artist name was Irregular, and his artist name was
oh,
Dementia,
okay.
and together we formed Irregular and Dementia.
Oh, okay. Because it's like irregular dementia. I'm not sure I've heard of that condition.
No.
Okay, that makes more sense. And then, and then go ahead. So then you were having a wild time in Poland, and you didn't have a hotel. Is that where we stopped?
Well, the best way to put it is in again, like the people are lovely and stuff, but it could have been a lot more comfortable. And we knew what it took to level up, and do things a little bit better in every aspect. So on our way home from the show, I think it was a rotten 10-hour train ride or something like that, in a pretty grubby train, we decided that enough was enough, and we're going to level up a bit. And what Rouven said before was pretty much nails it. It was the fine details. So we got out a bit of paper, and we started jotting down all the fine details that we needed to do better. And first of all, we needed a name.
Exactly. And we had like a train ride from Stettin to Berlin because on the next day we had a gig in Berlin.
Oh,
And
goodness.
yeah, on this train ride we wrote like everything down what we want to change, and based on the business side, but also decided to let's start a new name. And we had like this formula. The name should be 2 words, one word for the boys and one for the girls, like so they can connect to the artist name. And we came up with like maybe ideas which are not 100% the best ideas. For instance, power for the boys, horses for the girls. So our new name would be
He just
Power
made
Horses.
that up. He just made
But
that up.
but
Oh,
But yeah,
you
but
didn't,
it's
that
perfect
wasn't,
example. We had column A
yeah,
and column B.
yeah,
so you didn't,
exactly.
there was no power horses.
No, there
I
was never
mean,
Power
now
Horses,
that he
but
says it out loud, I've kind of wished that we could have gone with power horses. It's
Good,
yeah,
amazing.
it's a good track name, honestly, for like a really heavy neurofunk track.
Yeah.
Power
yeah.
Horses just have
So
like a really driving bass line.
yeah,
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. So we had like a long list of words for boys, a long list of words with for girls. And at some point, we had like zombie for the boys and cats for the girls, and we really like it was like an instant click, like oh my gosh, this sounds awesome,
It was
zombie
hilarious.
cats.
It was like,
And then we searched back on the days, which was like, does anyone has got this on Facebook, the name? And no one has it. Like oh,
No one would
this
ever come up with it. Yeah.
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. And then we had like later on we found out that it works also vice versa, the other way around, because boys also like cats. It's shocking, I know, but Ross, for instance, has got a cat, and he is proof.
No,
And
it's dead.
oh,
Oh, it's a
I'm
zombie.
sorry.
It's a zombie cat.
Yeah. Well, it lived to 22 years old, so
Oh,
great
wow.
innings.
Really good.
Sure. Zombie was meant to be connected to boys, but I met a lot of women through the years that they're also listening to or watching zombie related movies, so it's also working the other way around.
If you could have told me anything else about how you came up with the name, and I would have believed it more. That's so random.
Yeah,
But also
it's
very German. Let's make a
shooting fish
list
in a
of pros
barrel
and
with that
cons.
name.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it sounds like I usually nowadays I don't like to ask artists about how they came up with their names, but I thought with all the misinformation we were seeing online, I was like, let's just nail this down. Let's see what they actually say, and now you have it on record
Yep.
for all eternity.
It's like, oh,
You
cool. It
just
was completely soulless.
yeah, you just threw darts at a list on the wall of a train. That's
Exactly.
really
Yep.
excellent. Okay, so yeah, so going back into Undead so that was just like as like an anniversary thing to kind of mark the anniversary, and it was all the tracks that like you kind of just wanted to put in there that fit the vibe.
Yeah, pretty much to show every style it's all Neurofunk, but we want to show every style we did through like what we did in the past 10 years, like
I see.
classic zombie cats from the start, like Surface, but also like super modern, the one we did with Net or with the PIDK, which is pretty close to Neurobounce, the first track. Yeah, it's basically a summary of the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Without liquid.
Yeah.
Without liquid, yeah, because
Without
there was
liquid.
that liquid phase where even I was confused. I could have just asked you, because we're friends, but I was just like, I want to ask them about this, and then you mentioned the idea of an interview, and we caught the sweet spot between these two albums, so it just sounded like a good time to discuss it. So thank you for explaining, because I think a lot of people were confused, and for me, not in a bad way, because I always just like I personally, and being in the industry, it helps because you kind of know the people and you know that they just need to express themselves, right? Um, and it's not so much you just see where the style goes and see if you like it or not, you know what I mean? So that's kind of the way I thought of it, but I was surprised going from like hard eat brain style neurofunk to liquid, I think did confuse a lot of people.
Yeah.
So so now you've kind of split it out, so yeah, we'll see how those two things grow.
Absolutely.
Especially curious about the Tech Dreams thing, and I wonder if you'll get really really techie and start playing with different programs and different types of equipment, like maybe bringing in some analog stuff, a la Misanthrope.
We do heaps of analog with the Tech Dream stuff.
Yeah, so it's already happening. Is your point? That's great.
Yeah, that's a day's worth of inane mumbling about lots of things and buttons and lights and shit.
Well, yeah, no, I love that stuff. I don't know if I'm such a Moog fanatic, and I love all the old school synthesizers and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe another day. If you're not into talking about it, but I think it's interesting the types of things that you can do, the ways that you can manipulate things on analog versus digital. But I guess we'll hear it in the next album or in this album,
Absolutely.
the remix album. Cool. And so do you have another kind of release on deck for Zombie Cats yet, or we're still in process with that?
Oh, always something in the pipe. So basically, the idea is like to release every month and sometimes every 2 weeks track. The next thing in December is a remix. No, yeah, it's a remix for Chrissy Chris in December. And in January, we've got track with Tanukishi. It's also a great person. He's more like into the four to the floor drum and bass thing. Part of the new generation, I would say. There's also another remix for Diesel Boy, America. One track each month, and so far we've got tracks for January and February, And of course, we will write more music with Nemian, which is like also a close friend of us now. I met him here in Germany, and I think Ross, is he from your city or where he's from? He's from Melbourne, right?
He's from Melbourne.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Super lovely guy, amazing music. I personally, I'm a fan of his style, and it fits very well. Um, I really like the idea to have like a team of musicians. We are working close together, and back in the days it was Sephra. We used to collab a lot. Unfortunately, he stopped drum and bass, and basically now Redemptive and Neiman are our close friends. We are working together very often. But I
Cool.
guess that Redemptive will be more a person who will fit the Tech Dreams sound, I guess, because it's more moody, vibey. But the tracks with Anemian are straight neuro funk dance floor music.
So do you think they might both release on both sides at some point?
Not Nemean will just be uh, zombie cats. He's just too
Okay.
balls to the wall type stuff.
He's too flexy to use Noija's word.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that. What are the kids saying these days?
Well, I'm not sure Noisia are kids, but yeah, Nick always says like when something's really like you said, balls to the wall, it's very flexy. It's like you're showing your prowess kind of thing. So yeah,
Ah, right, yeah.
that's what it made me think of. Yeah,
I
that's
thought
the
you meant
Dutch
flexi
term,
as
I
in
think.
flexible. I'm like, oh, that's the opposite of
Oh
what
no,
I'm
no, like you're flexing down, like
Right,
you
yeah.
know. Okay, and so with the label with Zombie, so Tech Dreams is going to be on Zombie Cat's label for the most part as well. Yes.
Tech Dreams? No. I think
Oh,
the project Tech Dreams will be not connected to Zombie Cats very much. We want to let it speak on its own.
It's
The
very much its
people,
I
own
of
see.
course,
entity, yeah.
yeah, because well, of course, people will see that Zombie Cats are the same person like Tech Dreams, but we don't want to um, push it or brand it this way because um, I think we will work with totally different labels for the tech sound. There
Okay.
will be no Tech Dreams release on Eat Brain, for instance. I don't think so.
No.
Yeah,
Um,
so it'd be more like would you work with Dispatch again or like
yeah,
what
for
other
sure.
types of yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So kind
sure.
of
I
the
mean, yeah, at some point there has to be a Tech Dreams track on Dispatch because we started the idea with the
right, that's what I
LP
was
Tech
thinking.
Dreams. So it's get even more confused for the people. Like, what is it now? Is it an artist? Is it an LP? What is it? It's everything.
Yeah.
So much Tech Dreams.
We're gonna bring out the Tech Dreams cereal.
Mm.
You're gonna just really brand the heck out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like how you do your imagery as well because Zombie Cat's imagery is so strong, with the masks and the dead cats and everything. So weird to say
Yeah.
out loud. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of what imagery and art you come up with, with yourselves and with people you might be working with, how it looks different there and how people can recognize it better. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense to have it on Dispatch and kind of some of the other labels that are more expansive in that way. I could see, yeah, even Vision could do something like that if they were doing new projects. So with the label, with the Zombie Cats label, are you planning on just releasing Zombie Cats and Zombie Cats collabs, or do you have anything in the hopper for other releases from other artists that don't actually collab or remix with you?
No, we don't release other artists on Zombie Cats. We had or we still have got like the small idea of Creature, which well Creature, and there was also there were a couple of releases from Shannon, which is also a friend of us, and there was no collaboration. But if you see on the Zombie Cats the label catalog, you always see that it's Zombie Cats related. But my vibe at the moment is to work more with Eat Brain again and you also the Neuroheads guys.
Hmm.
Just sent them a new track yesterday, and they like it. And yeah, this would be also something for the future. Basically, there's like a handful of labels which are interested, and we are interested in to work with, and that's the classic labels called Eat Brain, Blackout, and Neuroheads. But also from Germany, we've got a strong label here, Handsome, which are also
Hmm.
doing a great job with the Neurofunk sound, and Darkshire Recordings also
Of
right
course.
now. Yes,
And you've got
and
in Czech, you've also got Neurofuck. That's the new one. Uh,
yeah, true, true. We worked already with Neuro.
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like on the on the more on the merchandise thing,
Right.
and yeah, the Czech people are so lovely. They love the music, they love the Eurofunk, they love the Euro bounce, if I call this style, and that's basically also the idea that we wrote the track Sima, which has got like the
Hmm.
Czech flag on the artwork. It's like a
Oh,
dedication
cool.
to the Czech people because they are our core audience, like the Czech people. Every time when I look on the Spotify analytics statistics, it's always Prague. Prague is number one, and then we've got Austria very strong, Netherlands, Germany, and
Obviously.
yeah, and then there is England, UK, and America, but it's also in this yeah, in this order. So yeah, the Czech people and Eastern Europe, yeah, I
Yeah,
salute.
you've also got what Hoofbeats is another one that's
Yeah,
on the board. It's interesting because when you look at like the Czech labels, you have that kind of neurobounce sound at clubs and parties, but a lot of the times when you get the music from the Czech labels, they're actually like harder and deeper and kind of much more introspective than you would expect from a lot of the artists, like like Away and Absent Not Equal and those guys. They really kind of like push the boundaries of neurofunk within that structure. So it'll be interesting to see how as you guys go forward collabing now that you're really pinpointing on the neurofunk. Um, but going back to, I had a question about neuroheads, and I just wondered like what you guys think about UK neurofunk right now, because obviously Europe and specifically Eastern Europe has really kind of taken it and ran with it and created its own kind of animal. And then you've always got audio, always got Ed Rush and optical and stuff like that. But it for a while the UK didn't really have much of a toehold in neurofunk, and now you've got neuroheads kind of really kind of opening up some space for that. So what do you think about the sound that's coming out of the UK right now with neurofunk and kind of how you want to work with labels like neuroheads?
yeah, Neuroheads are doing an amazing job, and they're also lovely people. A little bit crazy, but super
Yeah.
lovely. And I really like the way how they are working because they are very strategic and they are very honest. And that's basically, yeah, this is something I really click with because you can make plans with them, and they have got like the vision to bring Eurofunk a little bit back because, like you said, there was like I would say it was not so trendy, and
Hmm.
I'm right now I'm not sure if what is trendy because everything has got its own niche right now. Like everything has got its own small scene in drum and bass.
Mm.
But if you see who's releasing on Euroheads, it's basically the artist from Eat Brain from Blackout. So it's like the brand is like continuing with the Euro funk sound, but also bring back UK a little bit more. If we're talking about Euro funk, like you said, there are the legends, but I was missing a little bit that the younger generation is also connecting
Hmm.
to Eurofunk, and that's what Neuroheads is doing very, very well.
And what do you think about the sound of that? Because it sounds like Neuroheads is really working on curating that sound. And you mentioned kind of like the chaos of the UK and the crazy kind of party vibes along with Neurofunk. Do you think that's kind of what they're going for, or do you think that's how it's going to evolve out of, say, London and Bristol?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. When I was in Bristol, the whole vibe was kind of like if you partying in Czech. So the style
Ah,
is
okay.
very yeah, pure pace in your face. The party was like they were rocking it, and it was like not so. It was not like a lot of deep sound or like old school neurofunk, what for instance Ed Russian Optical did. This was super moody and vibey and deep and
Mm.
dark and techy. But the Neuroheads parties was for me like they really want to make a slamming drum and bass party. They want to rave, you know? And this
Yeah.
is something I really can connect to because it gives so much energy. And this is like basically the modern Eurofunk thing is like all the time energy. It is like if you're drinking a lot of energy drinks and then you're not thinking about like, yeah, let's get into the pad sound or let's go dive deep into it. No, you party, you want to dance, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just as you're saying that, I'm picturing like the first parties I went to in Czech where it was like just all shirtless teenagers with those light up masks, and I was like, oh, this is different.
Yeah, but
So,
yeah, I think, but
but yeah,
well,
it's that vibe, it's that energy.
it is,
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely.
I think so. It's
Yeah.
it's exactly this vibe.
Yeah.
Maybe not the mask things so much, but the energy is the same, I would say, or equal, or maybe similar. That's the word for it. Sorry.
It's certainly bridging
Yeah.
the gap anyway. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking is it's like they didn't it was kind of like in the UK for quite a while. The party scene was the jump up scene, and then you had like the old schoolers were with the kind of jungle and snaresy stuff. Liquid was liquid, but you didn't have like the hard drum and bass kind of got, you would have the virus once a year or twice a year at Steelyard, and that would kind of be it for Neurofunk, kind of for a while. So it's nice to see a resurgence. However, it looks, I think Brainrave as well and Dirtbox are doing some stuff there. So yeah, it's bringing back that party, but with kind of a more neuro edge, rather than just like the jump up, because you can hear Dimension in the grocery store in Tesco in the UK. So you need something that's a little more punchy, and I think maybe Neuroheads is filling that gap. So yeah, good to hear your thoughts on that. So before Ross falls asleep on us, I have one more
Yeah.
question,
Yeah.
and thank you for staying up so late. Yeah, so I always like to end every interview with just something. I mean, and we've gone over a lot of like ironing out the confusion about what zombie cats were, are, and are going forward. Tech Dreams is going to become a new project, and that's great. But I wanted to know, and this is kind of more of an introspective question, in terms of like what you feel as well. So I always like to ask every artist, what is one thing that you'd really like the fans to know about your music, yourselves, how you operate, whatever comes to your mind with that. So whoever wants to start.
Ross, do you want to start?
I'm still thinking about that. Hang on, give me a
So
second.
one important thing people have to know.
Yeah,
Ah,
that kind of demystifies zombie cats for them beyond what we've already talked about.
yeah, well, okay, let me see. Um,
I'd like to keep the mystery.
you want to keep the mystery.
Is that why you want you're gonna have masks for Tech Dream? I guess the way that I would say it is kind of like, because there are so many a lot of fans have misconceptions about the artists, and that's kind of why I started that question. I actually started it at Beats for Love when I was doing kind of more like the psychology behind artists and what they go through, the struggles and stuff like that. So I guess it's kind of more like, I guess, what would you want people to understand better about either artists in general or yourselves? Does that clarify it a little bit?
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
think
being an artist, what does it mean and what people can learn about this? Is this the direction you want to
Yeah.
our
Yeah, I mean, any
perspective?
direction you want to take it in, if that's what that makes you think of, I say go for that.
Okay, I mean, being an artist is very tough, especially if you're like a full-time artist. I wouldn't call myself a full-time artist because I'm not. I'm a teacher from Monday to Friday, and on the weekend, I do what I love, music, and this keeps me mentally sane because I know that if you like a full-time artist, you have to be so deep into the music that it can be very frustrating if the business is hitting you hard because it's a hard business. The music business is quite tough. So even more it's get tougher, I would say, because nowadays, back in the days, you have to persuade like the A&R of a specific label, and you were in, and you were like, you made it. You had to release. I remember how it felt when Ross and I had the first release on Decipher. Back in the days, it was a huge thing. And then the requests came in, like, can you DJ in Czech? Do you remember the party with Dillinger 2006, Ross?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was like, there was so, when
Actually, I
you,
think that was Budapest.
oh, true, Budapest. Sorry. So back in the days when you had like a release on a specific label, you made it. You were like part of the scene. Nowadays, everything changed. So it's like everybody knows that, but being an artist today is not just writing music. You have to be deep into the music. That's true, but you also have to do like basically everything, like design, social media, all the time being up, connected, and everything. And this can drive you crazy, I guess.
Mm.
So I'm very happy that I've got like my job as a teacher, because it keeps me sane. I can connect with young people, I can teach them, and I can also see what are the modern things, what they are thinking about the jungle, what are they thinking about, like if you be at home just in front of your monitor, sometimes of course you can see what people are throwing into the social media world, but I often see that if I talk to my students, that they are like talking about other things what you don't see on the social media, because we had this before. What we see on social media is just 7 seconds or 10 seconds or 20 seconds or something like this. But to connect with the people, you have to be to be at the party, and you have to connect to the people directly. And it's get very very big here, because even right now it's so hard to be up to date, especially because there are less and less parties, because a lot of clubs are closing. So we are
Yeah.
right now in a so weird situation, and I don't know how exactly this will go on, because as an artist you have to do everything. You have to be connected with everybody. You have to be up to date, technical, musical, with the people. But to be connected really with the people, you should be at the party and talk to them. But there are less parties. So right now it's
Mhm.
crazy. It's really crazy. And I understand that a lot of people, like a lot of artists, are frustrated, or maybe have got like some depression or something like this. And I'm so happy that I've got this job as a teacher, because it keeps me sane. And it
Keeps you grounded.
also,
Yeah.
yes, it keeps me grounded. And it also motivates me that I can come back to the studio and I totally be in my own space, and something I can write music just basically just for me. Then it would be a little bit more tech dreams. Or I can be like, okay, let's be a little bit strategic, but also like artistic, and let's write this neurobounce thing. But yeah, this is my thing. So if I can give people an advice, it's great to write music and to be an artist, but you should always have a plan B. So that's my impression. Of course, other people maybe see it different, but it keeps you sane to have like a plan B
Balance. Yeah.
to balance. That's life. Balance.
Yeah.
Yes. Like a good
Yeah.
mix down.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good, and every artist kind of chooses their own path for themselves, whether it's going to be full
Yeah.
time or part time, and I think what a lot of people don't understand is that it's not just if you do decide to do your music or your art full time, it's not just one full time job. It's three or four full time jobs, like you said, because now you
Yes.
have to do social
Yes.
media and branding and all that other kind of stuff, and it can definitely take its toll. And like I said, when I started this question, it was through a mental health lens. And you mentioned a couple times that's what keeps you sane. And you have to make music, but you also need that balance and that grounding. And I do think that to that end, do you think that now, because there's not as many clubs, do you think there's a bigger divide between fans and artists, or do you think it's closing somewhat because the fans are kind of seeing your process a little bit more online?
I'm not
Ross, what do
sure
you think?
it's defined. Like
Okay.
I don't think, like before it was fans were fans and artists were artists, but now I think Like take whole idea of social media for instance. It's like the idea of celebrities kind of dissolved, and everyone just thinks they automatically should be a celebrity because they've got accounts. So it's kind of like I don't think they know where they sit or even care about the concept of it. They're just everything is just in 90-second blocks. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that 90 seconds isn't enough to have a concept of yourself. It's just enough to like me, and then next. Like for
Right.
instance, like what the reason why like we're seeing more and more like you said, what part of it's music and what part of it's marketing and what part of it's like social media, all that kind of stuff. I would say really music is the smallest part of it now.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
that's why we're
unfortunately, yeah,
seeing
yeah.
influencers get booked instead of producers. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, why is that? And it's because if the kids put up their phones at a festival or at a gig and they film something, when they go to post that and the artist or the DJ or whatever reposts that, if they're an influencer, they're going to get so many more reposts than if it's a producer. And so
Yeah. So it's kind of
they'd
like,
rather have an influencer at the show because they might get a good repost out of that, and that will make them
yeah.
pretend that they're important or a celebrity when they're not. But so I think that's really the main motivation behind a lot of people, and I think if that's your main motivation for seeing shows and all that kind of shit, then you don't actually know what your motivation is. You're just flapping around.
Yeah, so it kind of it levels the playing field, but it also lowers all boats, I guess is kind of what I'm hearing.
Oh, it absolutely takes the art away from it. It's just a
Yeah.
it's just a fuck fest basically. It's like, but like you like it's what it means is that the actual music part of it is like completely disposable, like a piece of toilet paper almost. But it's not for us because we made it, and so more and more you're making like you have to make music for yourself as well. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
true.
so that
That's very true.
music
Yeah.
might be disposable for them, but it's not for me.
Hence tech dreams.
Yeah.
Bringing it back.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. Yeah, and maybe, well, I think it's hard to compare the old days with the new days because so much changed.
Yeah.
Back in the days
Mm.
when people were talking about the music and like what Ross said in the beginning, like go to a party and everything, the tracks were on vinyl, like there were maybe 5,000 copies, and that was like a big press, a big, yeah, many prints, I would say. So basically, 5,000 people on the whole world were listening or were like DJing those tunes. And if you compare this now with the streaming numbers, it's like totally different. So I guess that there's like a microcosmos inside drum and bass, which are like really pretty the same, like searching for the music, are like really into the music, but basically everything is so big right now that we kind of not see that there are a lot of people still searching for music or still investing their time
yeah.
in music. For instance, the younger generation, like Nat, she's really into the music. She's searching for new music, and I can see that she's basically what we were in the past. But if you see her presence online, you would think that she's like a social media girl only,
Mm.
like playing some small parts of drum and bass sounds. So my I don't want to see it so negative because everything that's live, everything is like changing. But I would love to connect to those people who are still like really deep into the music and are from the younger generation, because right now I think Ross and I, like Zombie Cats, are like in between, like we are the middle child, there's the old
Yeah.
the
That's a good way
pioneers.
for saying it.
Yeah, they're the pioneers, and we were like looking, well, I was looking up to Ed Rush and Optical and conflict. And now we've got like the new generation. We've got like people who are like dominating the charts in the UK, and fresh people like Alchemist, and who's a great guy also. And we are like in between. So I see that there are a lot of people out there who are really into the music, and there are a lot of people who are just consuming the music, and they
Yeah.
will be gone in one year. And yeah, so
Yeah,
drum and
and I
bass,
do think,
yeah. Mhm.
go ahead. I do think we do need to pause and say that within drum and bass, we're lucky that it's not completely popified. It's not completely pop,
Yeah,
and we're still in a little bit of a niche. And I would say that even now, the average drum and bass head has a lot more understanding of music and understanding of tech, and we kind of pride ourselves on that, even the younger generations. And I think what you just said about the younger, like Gen Z and Gen Alpha and stuff like that, we're in a place right now where there's this kind of insurgence of TikTok and the 90-second clip and the 7-second clip and stuff like that. But I think right now the pendulum's very swung to the right now, where everything's kind of confused, and we're getting bogged down, and there's the meaning doesn't mean anything anymore and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I think this generation will correct itself and come back to wanting to find meaning and wanting to find depth. It's just like a question of sifting through all of that horrible media, and I think things will start to niche out, and I think drum and bass will be a good place to be for that eventually too.
Yeah.
But at the moment it's overwhelming, I can imagine. But I think the
Yes,
Zoomers
yes.
and the Alphas will be okay in general. They always are, unless we completely destroy the planet. So yeah, no, I think that's an interesting take, and like Ross said, we could probably talk on this for a very long time, because there's just so much nuance and difference to it. And yeah, it doesn't really do that well to compare the old days to the new days too much. But I think the cream always rises, and there are those of us who prefer the respect of the educated few to the adoration of the many. You know what I mean? But within that, it's still like, how do you exist? So that's kind of again why I came up with this question. So I think, Ross, you said you had come up with your own answer there. So do you want to mention that,
What's that? What do you mean?
to the question of like, what is one thing you want kind of the fans to know about artists?
Oh, I kind of just answered in it was like it's disposable to it might be disposable to you, but it's not disposable to me.
Okay.
If you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
So yeah, it's kind of like they should understand you're kind of putting your blood, sweat, and tears into it, and it's what you hear in that 7-second snip is the culmination of loads and loads of work and
Yeah, but
passion and stuff like that.
I don't actually think about it like, oh, because I've worked hard on it, like, oh, you should know that I really love it. Like it's kind of irrelevant. It's like, well, it's kind of like, well, it might be disposable to you, but like I'm doing it's here for me. So like it doesn't matter how you frame it because I like it.
Yeah, you're making the art for yourself, and so you hope people like it. But either way, it's your own. It's for your own joy,
Yeah.
basically.
And
Cool.
I think drum, no matter what you say, like with social media and how disposable it is, or like the TikTok culture and all that kind of stuff, there's still amazing music being made every day in our genre. So I mean, as long as that's happening, then it's a great genre.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we should probably let Ross go to bed. Thank you again for staying up, and you guys for taking the time. I hope you enjoyed it. And
Yeah,
yeah,
very
we'll
Yeah,
talk
much.
you're a
soon.
Thank you
legend.
very
Thank you so
much for the
much.
interview.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very
So
much.
yeah.
Here's something new that I can't believe.
left nothing for me.
Here's something now that I can't leave. You left nothing for me. Here's something now that I can't leave. Here's something now that I can't leave. Here's something now that I can't leave.